Hi,
Hey,
I'm Julia,
and I'm Amanda,
and this is Much Needed Advice.
a podcast for people who want to know what to do. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day!
People have strong opinions on this holiday,
Totally.
more so than other holidays.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole camp of Valentine's Day haters.
Yeah.
And then I think a camp of people who love Valentine's Day and are really expecting romantic things to happen on Valentine's Day.
I think it's more pressure than even Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like the big family holidays could possibly be less pressure filled than Valentine's Day.
Maybe because people don't know where everybody else is at.
Right. And people aren't communicating about it. And there's a lot of just assumptions being made, especially if you're not in a defined relationship.
Hey, remember we talked about this with Yehuda.
Yeah. In episode 6, you mean?
Yeah, in our Valentine's episode last year, we talked all about communicating expectations. So that's a good place to start. Although it is Valentine's Day today, so you're probably a little late.
Better late than never. It's kind of like when your anniversary comes up. A lot of people, I feel like, remember on the day of, but you can always pull something together last minute if you need to. We want to think about the bigger idea here. It's basically an excuse to think about love, to think about relationships, which kind of is everything in life. It's kind of why humans are here, to love and connect.
I think with all of these things in life, you take what you love and make it your own.
And the point is, there are no obligations. There are no rules. The more you figure out what you like about this day and how you can make it your own and how you can make it special or unique. I mean, why not? Why not use this as an excuse to treat yourself, to treat someone else, to tell them how you feel?
It's also nice to just focus on the positives. I mean, you could be a person who's like, oh, I don't have a date. It's Valentine's Day. My life sucks. Or you could go, I want to write little love notes to my 5 best friends and put them in the mail.
Oh,
So they get cards. How fun would that
physical cards with written notes, my personal favorite thing. You know, if you're so worried about getting love, you're missing the point. It's a day about giving love. And we know there's someone you love out there in a not necessarily romantic way.
be? It's more about focusing on the theme of love, how that manifests in your life, what you want to do with that, how you can make yourself and other people feel loved. And it's less about getting a date at 7:00 at the hottest restaurant where everything is overpriced and it's super crowded.
It sounds terrible. Think about what you would actually want to be doing, not what you're supposed to be doing or what you think you're going to be judged for, because newsflash, no one fucking cares what you do.
Yeah, literally no one cares about you. I happen to think Valentine's Day is the worst day to go out on a dinner date. You
Don't
can do
go
that.
to dinner. Don't.
You can do it any night, and literally every other night is better. And you can be so much more creative than that. And that's what's fun about dating, is you get to put on your creativity hat.
People fall back on the typical stuffed bear, candy hearts, chocolates from C's, a card from Hallmark. But like, is that really a show of thoughtfulness? Did you really think about the uniqueness of your partner and the uniqueness of yourself? I get it. Valentine's Day has some great marketing. Everyone's pushing their products. There are some go-tos, but even if you're really into the holiday and you're into the colors and some of the cute traditions, you can put your own spin on it. It doesn't need to be just straight out of a rom-com.
Yeah, and it is Valentine's Day. If you've already planned a delivery of red roses, we are not hating on you. That's very sweet. We're just saying you can take the theme and run with it, make it your own. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today, is how to make things your own, how to be unique, and how to stand out in dating.
Yeah. And this episode is going to be focused on dates, but quick shout out to people who want to love on themselves today. You know, love language yourself is our motto.
And we talk about self-love languages on, I believe, 6 Ways to Build Confidence in that episode. So if you want to hear more about self-love languages, go back and listen to that episode. It's also our most popular episode.
It's a great way to build self-esteem too.
Yeah, so you're meeting your own needs.
Exactly. Especially if you're feeling a little bit like down or like, oh, I don't really want to be alone on this day, or I don't want to think about it. Doing things that build your own self-esteem is exactly what you want to be doing.
What's your favorite self-love date?
Definitely getting a massage from Siri, who's my new massage lady. She rocks. And I also I always have a wish list of clothing items that I want to buy. That's always getting longer and longer. I'll have like a blouse that I've been looking at for a while that's in my screenshots, and I'll go to those and pick something out and order it for myself.
I love it.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, you know, my old faithful, I go to In-N-Out.
No way.
Yeah, I go to In-N-Out.
Look, you're a Southern California girl.
Yeah, I just did it the other day. I go to In-N-Out by myself, and then I find a place to park. The In-N-Out I've been going to lately, there's a nice little neighborhood next to it, and there's a big tree that I park under. And then I listen to a podcast and eat my In-N-Out in the car.
Oh, that sounds great.
I love being in my car. I like kind of enclosed spaces.
It's cozy.
Yeah, it's cozy. In-N-Out's delicious. It's like a little treat. And then I listen to one of my favorite podcasts, and it's just like a nice hour that if I'm in a funk or I'm bored, it always puts me in a good mood.
That sounds incredible.
We have a question.
Yay! Who wrote into us?
Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt. Dear M&A, I just listened to your How to Find Love episode, which has inspired me to step up my dating game. Do you have ideas for dates that aren't boring?
I'm so glad you asked, because there's nothing worse than a boring date.
And it can be really easy to fall into a routine of boring dates. Go to dinner, go for drinks.
Some people are real sociopaths about it. They take every girl on the same date. That's just a clear sign that it's not about the girl. What you plan for a date really speaks volumes about who you are and how you feel about the other person. So we're going to help you express yourself in that way.
And stand out. If you're casually dating or intentionally dating, if you're looking for the one or the one for right now, there's a lot of competition out there and you got to stand out.
And also, if you just want to have a good time, just going to a dinner for every date sounds boring. Like, why do you want to be on a boring date? If you make a little effort, think about what you want to be doing, and just create a date around that, you're going to have a lot more fun.
And this is for guys and girls alike.
Yeah.
Gay, straight, whatever, whoever you are.
Whoever you are out there.
We've got lots of ideas so you can just have fun dates. And hey, feel free to send this to whoever you're dating.
Yes.
Share it with your friends.
Recommend they listen to this ep.
Yeah, we need more good daters out there.
And chances are your partner's like dying for recommendations about what would make you happy.
Yeah.
If they're into you, they just want to know the answers so that they can give you what you want.
And we're all busy and tired, and sometimes it takes too much energy to come up with creative, fun dates. So we did it all for you. Okay, so we have a lot of date ideas, and we've split them up into categories. So the first category is physical activities that don't get you sweaty.
Julia's not trying to get sweaty on a date.
I don't want to prove how in shape I am to you on a date. I don't want to work out on a date.
It's like when you're hiking and you're out of breath. You literally can't have a conversation.
Right. Like, I don't want to go up a steep incline to get to know you.
I could go either way. Like, I'm okay with it. Not on a first date for me because I'm trying to look cute, and that's pretty much my only goal.
You can do physical activities as dates, but for this to be a safe bet for people you're just dating casually and might not know very well, here are some physical activities that don't get you sweaty so they don't feel like they're going to be all gross or flushed or whatever.
One of my favorite first dates was at an arcade.
That used to be my favorite date. I love to go to the arcade at the Santa Monica Pier and play air hockey.
And introducing a little competition.
Yeah.
Is fun. A little rivalry. Next thing you know, you have an inside joke.
So something Amanda and I like to do is archery.
We're openly passionate about archery.
Archery is great because it's low barrier to entry. You don't need to be particularly strong in any way to do it. And it's just fun.
Things like archery, axe throwing, golf, all of these things can come with a lesson. Like, you can take a lesson together, basically. And it's really quick. You don't have to do anything to prepare. And you've just learned something new and discovered something about yourself and about the other person. And it's fun regardless of how well you do at it. It's almost better if you can be goofy and suck. And it can also just be sexy to see if the other person's like really good at it or really bad at it, or if they're good at being self-deprecating or, you know, whatever.
And if you both really like it, it can become a shared activity that you do over and over again. Mm-hmm. Shared interest.
Yeah.
And then the last one we have in this category is going to a smash room, which Jeff and I have one booked. We haven't done it yet.
Ooh.
And this is where you go to a place and smash things, like destroy things. I don't know if they have them in every city. They have a couple different ones in LA.
Shout out to Break Room LA.
This is a good one, especially if you know the person you're going on a date with has had a really bad week or a really bad day. It's thoughtful because it's like, I understand where you're at emotionally, and here is a way for us to channel that energy into something relieving and fun.
What a nice way to say that you care about someone.
It's nice when your date can double as stress relief.
Yes.
Because we're all stressed.
Life's hard right now.
Yeah. So get some of that anger out. Smash some stuff together.
Our second category is food and beverage experiences. So we don't just mean going to the Daily Grill. There's just no better go-to than the Cheesecake Factory when talking about like boring suburban chains.
We get it. You like avocado egg rolls.
Yeah, we know they're good. Okay. The strawberry lemonade is delicious, but we're talking about emphasizing the experience and
being memorable.
Yeah, we have some ideas.
I've had some great food and beverage experiences.
Okay, tell me.
And they're so memorable. Tastings are always fun. You can find a coffee tasting, a whiskey tasting, a wine tasting, even a tea tasting. I booked a tea tasting as a date one time in a different city.
Ooh, Amsterdam?
No, it was in Chicago.
Still great. One of my favorite dates was, I know this is location based. We're in LA and our followers are global. We're
on all continents, not Antarctica.
Antarctica doesn't count.
Penguins
all they
don't
have is
listen.
penguins. Penguins don't have Spotify accounts.
Penguins also have love figured out.
You're right. They don't need our advice. We should be taking advice from them. One of my favorite dates was someone took me to this restaurant called Scopa.
Love Scopa. Scopa Italian roots.
It's like a very trendy looking place with a fun bar.
Yeah.
Okay. They have this hidden whiskey bar underneath the restaurant that supposedly you can't get into unless you find the tall French man somewhere in the restaurant and he allows you in to the room. And it's this tiny, tiny room underground that only like 10 people could sit in. And they have the most expensive whiskeys and you pick one of the 3 tastings. You're going to spend a lot of money, But, you know, it's more than just dinner. It makes it feel like a special experience. It doesn't need to be expensive like this, but this one happened to be. And you make friends with the other people in the room. You're trying something new. You're talking about what you like and what you don't like. And it's a quiet, dark corner that you can kind of start making out in.
Anything with a speakeasy vibe or like a hidden secret password kind of thing, you immediately get BDE.
You get it?
Yeah. If you take someone on to, like, you're just walking down the street and then there's a door and you whisper the password to someone and they open it and there's a beautiful cocktail bar in there. That's happened to me.
Oh, for
in San Francisco. Now you have the biggest dick energy.
I'm impressed. He can get in places.
Yeah, he knows
He's about to get in more places. And with tastings, tasting menus, test kitchens, it's just fun. Listen, if it's not fun, what's the point, as we say?
Exactly. And it's always fun when you can kind of gamify something, in my opinion. So
Ooh.
Jeff and I have an annual double date with another couple where we go to the Malibu Chili Cook-Off every Labor Day weekend. And we get really into it. We try every single chili, we discuss, we rank them. You know, you got to buy in.
Yeah. See, that's making an effort to make it an event and also a tradition.
So those are our food and beverage experiences. Next, we have museums and galleries. Do you want to tell us about a date you're going on today?
Today, I'm going on a date at the Getty Museum. It's an experience that the Getty has created, but you could also just make it up yourself when you're going to a museum with someone. It's a scavenger hunt that involves clues that we have to solve that lead us to multiple famous naked paintings. And then there's a winner at the end. So it's like a group activity.
How do you win?
You find all the naked paintings that solve all the clues.
Love it.
So if you're puzzle people, it's perfect.
I love a scavenger hunt.
And I think a great thing to keep in mind for dates too is you want to bring out that inner child. Like you want to feel childlike with the person that you're with.
Yeah, you want to play.
It's a play date. It's
And
not
let
supposed to be
loose.
serious and boring. It's not supposed to be a job interview. I think you start to get those feelings for someone if you feel like you can be a kid again with them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the Getty or whatever the big go-to museum is closest to you. It can be something weird and random. It can be a pop-up. Like one time I was seeing a guy who was an architect and I was living in downtown LA at the time. And there was this architecture museum, but he had just moved to LA. So like he wouldn't have been to something like that. So that's where I took us. And it was weird and it was in the middle of nowhere. And there was this contemporary dance performance that happened in the middle of it. But yeah, that was something that kind of, you know, showed I was paying attention to his interests, but it also got weird and made for great laughs afterwards.
I think the key is that you tailored it to his interests.
Yeah.
And you can either do that, or if it's something you're really interested in, like an artist that you love, you can share that with the other person and then they get to know about you more.
And I love when people do that. When someone invites me to a concert of an artist that's their favorite, I love learning about new music and getting to understand the person better through that experience. Our fourth category is shopping.
We're not talking about taking your date shopping and buying them a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, we're talking more about like the shopping montages in movies such as, you know, White Lotus actually had a shopping montage with Cam and Daphne. That was really fun because he lost his luggage.
Oh,
so he had to
right.
buy a whole new wardrobe in Sicily. And so they have a little shopping montage.
You're reminding me that one of my first dates with Jeff, first we went to an estate sale at like a vintage furniture and art store that I loved. And then we popped into a thrift store and tried on all the hats and the cool vintage Letterman jackets. And we did like a montage.
Yeah.
The sunglasses, you know, we popped up in different outfits.
window shopping, walking around if there's a great little street near you.
Even going to a thrift store with the goal of splitting up and each buying something for each other. You might end up with a weird bucket hat and you have to wear it.
You have to. And then you just have that thing in your closet till the end of time and it'll make you smile.
Also, if like Mother's Day is coming up or the holidays are coming up, it can be fun to go gift shopping together.
Because that kind of thing is such a drain alone. So much better done together, like most activities, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Our next category is travel. And there's lots of different ways to travel. You can do a day trip where you drive somewhere maybe a couple hours away for the day and explore. You can do overnights when you're ready for that, 1 to 2 days. I mean, you'll have to be dating for a little bit to get there. One thing that has been fun for both of us is capitalizing on work travel. Mm-hmm. If you have to go somewhere for work or the other person does, just inviting them along, as long as it's allowed.
Yeah, as long as it's totally kosher, doesn't interfere with the person's job at all. And if you can get the time off yourself, that's made for some of the funnest experiences for us.
If you're already going to New York or somewhere, then you might as well have someone fun to enjoy like your off time with that you're not working.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say every time I've made that decision, it's been totally worth it. It's
Same.
Made the work trip better if I've been the person working, and it's been like my chance to kind of make the other person's work life better and to have an experience in a place that I might never go otherwise. Just don't be a Carrie and like go with a guy to Paris and then get bored and not be able to figure out anything to do in Paris, the most vibrant city on the planet.
In order to do this date work trip thing, you have to be independent and know that this person is there to work, which means you get to go explore.
I feel like a lot of people, when they think of travel, they really build it up and think they have to have a lot of money and a lot of time and they need to plan ahead and all that. None of that is true. And I think we are here to be your gurus for last minute, spontaneous, cheap travel. If you want more information, go to episode 1 for cheap travel in your 20s.
Yep.
But what are some good day trips or 1 to 2 nights max?
I mean, it depends on where you live. I would say good day trips are probably within a 2-hour drive. There's all kinds of cute little towns all over the place. It doesn't have to be a huge destination. It can be just a new place to explore. Broaden your horizons, make a memory, get a little souvenir, maybe.
I think going into a relationship too, you want to know you can survive a road trip with someone and that they won't annoy you. I think the feeling of annoyance is the biggest and easiest sign that something is not going to work out, and you'll find that out real fast on a road trip.
The feeling of annoyance. So yeah, travel of all forms. You don't have to jump on a plane. You don't have to book a hotel room. There's so many different ways that you can change your surroundings at all different price points. Last but not least, we have other. These are just a couple bonus ideas for you that don't necessarily fit into the other categories.
One thing that someone did for me once during COVID when everything was shut down and closed is they took me on an empty bar crawl. So they happened to know bar owners throughout the city that we were in and convinced them to open up just for us to come on through and
That's amazing.
And have a drink or two or play a couple arcade games, play darts, play shuffleboard. And it was just us, but we had a blast just going from place to place. And it was one of the most memorable things I did during COVID.
That's like the celebrity treatment.
Yeah, that's how you want to feel when you're on a date. You want to feel like you're getting the celeb treatment. Think about how you can curate a completely unique experience. Use who you are and who you know and what you know in order to create an experience for your date that no one else could, that they could never have otherwise.
I love that. We have a couple of friends who work in music and they get us access to really cool concerts, really cool experiences at those concerts. And it can be something that maybe they would take for granted or they've done it so many times. But when you invite somebody else to have that experience with you, it's so cool because it can be once in a lifetime for them.
Yeah. And I found it reinvigorates the person whose job it is, reinvigorates their joy in what they're doing too. So I love being that tag along person.
There's all kinds of stuff. If your friend has a gallery show or your friend made a movie and has a movie screening, invite your date into your network and show off all the cool things your friends do.
And then the other thing in the other category is reading quietly together. This is just one example, but the point is think about what you most want to be doing on a Sunday morning or on a Friday night, and then see if you can weave that person into it. So if you enjoy things like taking a book to the park and reading, see if they'd be up for doing that with you and bringing their own book. If you like getting espresso on a Sunday morning and walking your dog, see if they're open to doing that.
As they say on TikTok, romanticize your life. It's also just really nice to practice gratitude for those little moments in life. It can be really memorable, even though it's really simple.
Yeah, and seeing if the person fits into your life that way. And if they also like the kind of lifestyle that you're envisioning for yourself.
That's a bunch of date ideas for you. We'll have to go back and count them after we edit this episode
so that we can put a number on the episode title.
But we want to talk about what works about these dates so you can think of your own in terms of what makes them great dates.
Yeah, we want to give you fish, but also teach you how to fish. And make this adaptable to every city and every person who listens.
So one of the things that works about these is that they're social. If you think about making friends on vacation and how it can just be fun to make friends in the pool and then you go out to dinner and it's like whatever, you're probably never going to see them again. Have that attitude about when you go to these experiences with a lot of people and how you can make little friends and connections that don't really have to mean anything, but can be fun in the moment.
Yeah. And it's just really fun to see the person that you're with and how they make friends. And it's just fun seeing them being outgoing.
A big thing about all of these dates we mentioned is that they're memorable. Doing a nude painting scavenger hunt, you're probably not going to forget that. Even if it's really bad, even if you lose.
Right. Which would be the worst thing that could happen. The next thing that works about these is that they're interesting. You're learning something. It's going to spark conversation that goes beyond the typical date questions. I will murder any of you who just sits down and looks at the other person and says, "So what do you do?"
We're going to do a whole episode on how to be a good conversationalist. So
true. And this is a good way to bring up interesting topics organically by just reacting to the experience that you're having on your date so that you don't have to dive into your childhood trauma right away.
There's not so much pressure to be a great conversationalist because you're talking about why chili A is better than chili B.
Right, which anyone can talk about even if they're nervous, even if they're not feeling particularly chatty that day. The next thing that works about these date ideas that's universal is that they're thoughtful, right? They actually have to do with the person that you're taking out. So it's something that's connected to their interest, something that made you think of them, something that has to do with an inside joke between the two of you or a competition between the two of you.
Or even something that you just put thought into. The fact that you went out of your way to find something cool for the two of you to do together is thoughtful. Even if it's not directly referencing something you might already know about them.
And it can be a low bar. Listen, this is a Google search. It's not that hard. And yet, there are a lot of boring dates happening out there all over the world. Don't contribute to it.
Another thing that works about these dates is that they're creative. They're not just a go-to. They're not lazy. They're something new, something exciting, something to look forward to. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. And lastly, unique, something only you can offer. So really thinking about what you can bring to the table, show off a little bit. It can also be like, look, I'm unique in that I know a lot about ancient Mesopotamia. So I'm going to take you to this exhibit about it and flex a little bit in a non-obnoxious way.
Yeah.
That's unique.
I'm half Lebanese. Sometimes I'll take people to a Lebanese restaurant and for some reason they think I'm the authority on Lebanese food. But I can go, oh, this is like what my grandma used to make us all the time. Or, you know, something that has something to do with you is a nice way for people to get to know you without you just talking about yourself.
Which none of us feel comfortable doing. And if you are comfortable doing that, we're probably tired of hearing about you. So yeah, just to recap, great date ideas are social, memorable, interesting, thoughtful, creative, and unique.
And they don't have to be all of those things, but one of those things.
I think they need to be all of those things.
Oh, you know what would be fun?
What?
Send in the best dates you've ever been on and what you did. Then we can crowdsource all the best date ideas.
Yes.
And do another episode with all of your best dates.
Yeah, please. The more specific, the better.
Be very specific, but not long-winded. You'll figure it out.
Julia, do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for our Recs of the Week. Did you bring a rec today?
I did.
Okay,
Did
good.
you?
Yeah, I did too. And it kind of goes with our theme of thoughtful date ideas. I have a thoughtful gift for your partner.
Oh.
My recommendation is a vintage viewfinder. So I'm not sure if our audience is able to picture what this is. It was one of the big toys in the 90s where you look into it and you click from photo to photo and it puts your face in like a dark room where the picture that you're looking at almost looks 3D. It's really cute. Just, I think, the idea of a vintage toy that you can customize for your relationship, but it also can sit on a shelf and just look cool, whether you're a guy or a girl. So one time for an anniversary, I got a boyfriend a vintage viewfinder and then had pictures of the two of us throughout our whole relationship put onto the picture wheels that you can click through. And I had like 5 or 6 picture wheels made.
How cute. Where do you get the picture wheels made?
It's super easy. You just go on Amazon and you purchase the actual viewfinder, and then you get a link to a website where you upload your photos, and then you just have them sent to you in a couple weeks.
Cool.
So the actual item on Amazon is called Image 3D Custom Viewfinder Real Plus Retro Viewer. It has an Amazon's Choice stamp on it, and it's only $34.
Wow, what a great gift.
Thank you.
Mine's actually similar.
Oh, tell me.
I went on a road trip with a former boyfriend, and it was really beautiful, like up and down the West Coast, and we took a ton of pictures. And he used to like to find vintage postcard books like at thrift stores. So I made a postcard book out of all of our pictures from the road trip, and they turned out really beautiful. I made them on a website called Artifact Uprising. I looked and I don't think they make them anymore, so I found another one called Paper Chase Press, which is an independent business that prints locally in Los Angeles. And it was just a cute little memory, kind of different way to do a photo album because they're postcards, and if you want, you can use them and send them to people or send them to each other if you're long distance.
Yeah.
And it was a nice way to memorialize an activity that we did together.
That sounds amazing. And not to mention, you're a great photographer.
Oh, thank you.
You know, it plays into something you're good at, possibly a hobby you two shared.
Yeah. So stay romantic. Let us know if this was helpful, if you want to hear more ideas about good dates or thoughtful gifts.
Or good conversation on dates.
We love all that stuff. So if you're really vibing with these Valentine's episodes, we'll keep it going.
See ya.
Bye.
So that's what we think you should do. What do you think? Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you need advice? DM us on Instagram at much.needed.advice or email us at muchneededadvicepod@gmail.com. Bye. How do we become one voice?